Good morning. We're here today in my Manhattan Beach office with Sotheby's International Realty, and I am interviewing my two favorite clients, Steffen and Marcus. And they have just ventured into a new business, and I just want to talk to you about what inspired the two of you.
So thank you, Linda, for having us. So to answer your question, I was a little bit frustrated with the quality of coffee I was getting for many, many years. And the internet improved things. We were able to get things online. And then along came Starbucks and Peet's, and that improved things slightly. But time and time again, I was having trouble finding really good quality coffee that was fresh and it could be delivered when I needed it. And so I finally gave up and decided to start roasting myself. So I went out and bought a roaster, and I got permission from Marcus to go ahead and buy a roaster.
He asked if he could get a roaster, and then a big truck showed up at the house with a big old pallet.
Oh my goodness.
So it's a little bit
Without
more than just
shock.
a roaster.
Yeah. And then I pursued the industry experts and worked with them and got training from the industry experts, and then started roasting coffee myself. And I was pleasantly surprised at what I was able to come up with, and it was the best coffee I'd ever had up until that point. So I thought, well, maybe we should make this available to our friends and family, and then customers came along the way. So now we're roasting coffee.
Then we opened January of 2023 is when we launched the site.
So how do you see this that's going to evolve in the next 5 to 10 years? Because this is really a new profession for both of you, right?
It is. I mean, right now it's a part-time gig for us. We have our day jobs as well. But in the next 5 years, we plan to expand to the point where we have a tasting room that will allow folks come in and try a whole variety of coffees, all different roast levels and different coffee origins. So 5 years out, we're looking at expanding our operation to have a local presence as opposed to just an online presence.
I love that, because it's like when you go do wine tasting or olive oil tasting or anything like that. And that's a brilliant idea that you came up with. I think that's great. So can you describe the process you follow for acquiring your green coffee? And how does your approach different from other roasters?
Our approach is slightly different than most roasters. Most roasteries, they partner with farmers from around the world. And what that gives them is direct access to the farms and the harvests, and cost savings with respect to the acquisition of the coffee. What we found is that while that's a good model for saving money, it's not a great model for having diversity of offerings or diversity of coffee. Plus, you're tied to the harvests. So if there's a bad harvest, you get bad coffee. So instead, we partner with the importers of the coffees so that we have a wide spectrum of coffees available to us to choose from. We can test each of them out and then select only the ones we're interested in. So we're able to offer coffees from completely around the world throughout the year.
Wow, I love that. That's great. Well, I'm going to have a little sip of my coffee that you brought for me today.
Yeah,
and tell me about this. Tell me about this coffee.
This coffee is from Uganda. It's a natural processed coffee. I roasted it light, and then I used an AeroPress to make an iced coffee today.
Okay, let's try this. Wow, that is good coffee. Usually I like to have, all that cream that's all foamy and things like that.
Right.
This surpasses having to block the taste of the bland coffee that I make myself in the morning. This is really great coffee. I like this. And do you do the same thing? Are you helping him? And what is your role in this?
Kind of operations as far as marketing, advertising, social media, the print media. We do a lot of advertising in San Pedro today. I organize our events, our coffee tasting event that we had in May that you attended.
Yes, I love that.
So that was, it was kind of like a wine tasting, but with coffee. So we want to have those periodically, and are looking to probably have another one in October.
Yeah, that was a brilliant. What you had, that venue you had, that was brilliant. And I was
thank you.
there was so many people there, and I was
Yeah, it was a great
enjoying
turnout.
the presentation of how you did the coffee, and I was really excited about it. So, what varieties of coffee beans do you roast?
So we have coffee right now. It changes throughout the year, and we do have some blends that we offer year round. But the dominant coffees we're offering right now are from Ethiopia, Uganda, East Timor, Mexico, El Salvador, and one other place. So a lot of
Wow.
Tanzania.
That is excellent. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
So, can you explain the steps that you go through in roasting and the process of this?
Yes. So this is what is kind of unique about our particular process. So I developed a custom hardware and custom software for our roastery. So it turns out the roasting industry hasn't really changed a lot in the last 100 years. The roasters you see today are the same roasters that you saw 100 years ago. They have seen some modernization, but what I did was I incorporated a custom hardware and software for precisely controlling the roaster. And what this enables me to do is get very precise temperatures and very precise timelines on the roasting process. So every order that we get, so every bag is roasted to order. So I develop a special profile for each coffee, each roast level, and each size. And so when an order comes in, within a day or two, I've got the roast plan put together for all the roasts for all of our orders. And then we just queue up the roasts in the order of size and darkness, and off we go.
Wow, that's really interesting, because you not being in this, neither of you before, and you've gone through this whole process, and honestly, this is excellent coffee. That it just, it blows me away that you guys thought to do something like this, and I welcome this. I absolutely welcome this, and I would definitely tell everybody about you, because I think this is very brilliant, very brilliant. Okay, so this roaster that you asked Marcus, it came with a big house.
So he built this house basically.
No,
for the roaster,
that came up to your home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me where you keep this. I mean, how large is this roaster that you have for this excellent coffee here? Tell me.
So I wanted a small enough roaster where I could do roast to order, so I wouldn't have to do huge batches. But I didn't want them so small I couldn't keep up with production capacity. So I bought a 1.5 kilo roaster, which is a good size roaster. It's not one of these things that uses up an entire house, but it's good size. It probably weighs 400 to 500 pounds.
Oh my goodness, where do you put this roaster? In your backyard?
No. We built a building around the roaster, so it actually everything is set up for roasting in a separate building that we built on our property. So I built the building actually around the roaster.
Oh my God, I love that. Other than social media, how are you marketing your gourmet coffees?
Marcus,
So as I mentioned, social media, we do print advertising as well in San Pedro today, and interestingly enough, I think our sales have come from our print media, our coffee events, and our newsletters, repeat business. So I'd say it's probably about a third, and most of our social media seems to be people learning some of the skills that we have out there and how to brew, the different methods to brew, and those sorts of things. So those are the areas where we get the comments on instructing people on how to discern, different coffees and how to make the coffees.
So since you've only been doing this just a small amount of time, have you attracted a large audience already? Have you attracted people that are really interested and constantly are getting your coffees?
Yeah, so I would say we're still in startup mode, so we're doing as much as we can to get more visibility doing these things. Thank you very much. And so everything helps. We're getting a little traction here and there. So we're it's little by little, baby steps, but we're moving in that direction. I think if we persevere, then I think it'll start to blossom and bloom and move in the direction that we hope.
Yeah, what we're glad to see is the vast majority of our customers come back time and time
I love
again.
That's amazing, really. So how are you going to stay ahead of the trends in coffee, in the coffee world today?
Well, okay, so Marcus has some areas that he's working on. The area I'm focused on is the technology side. As I mentioned before, I developed custom hardware and software for a roastery. I'm also doing R&D work on artificial intelligence to do more modeling of the roasting process to see if I can get more refined control of the roasters, as well as repeatability and reduction of energy, so to reduce our CO2 footprint. So I'm focused more on the technology side to refine the roasting process, and Marcus is focused on other areas.
So I think part of what I do is I really listen to the feedback that we get from customers. One of the things that we received was people were looking for a lower caffeine alternative. And we do offer a decaf, which we think is really good, but at the same time, we explored an alternative, which is brewing cacao. So brewing cacao is, we get the green cocoa bean, and Steve roasts the cocoa bean, and then we grind it, and it can be brewed similar to coffee or even tea, and then it's really a nice alternative to coffee because it has very, very little caffeine, but it gives you a smoother or a softer boost. I have somebody that gave me feedback that said, this just is very, when I drink it, it's very relaxing, and it just makes me feel, puts me in a really good sort of spot and in a good mood. So we're getting really good feedback on the brewing cacao. So we're trying to understand, but not venture too far off of what our core product or core products are. So those are some of the other things that we're looking into.
Right.
The thing you said about the AI, that to me was very interesting, that you're touching on AI with this.
Yeah, so because I built all the software to collect data and to control the roaster, what I started doing was collecting all the data so that I can introduce machine learning and algorithms into the roastery itself, so that I can better anticipate the turning points and the points at which there are different waypoints within the roasting process. So it's really interesting. We'll see if the machine learning and AI ends up improving the roasts, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to reduce our CO2 footprint and the amount of energy we use in the process of all this.
Wow, after you get this all down pat, to a perfection, this is pretty perfection now, but when you get further into this, you could teach this to people. Would you ever consider doing something like that and having like a coffee lesson, so to say?
That was in the landscape of our business plans long term, is to teach roasting and to have a roasting school. We're not there yet, just because we don't have the cycles to do it. We're mostly focused on improving our products and making sure we get the most out of our products first, and then down the road, I think that's going to be.
That's cool, because that is future for, and you're just helping everyone.
Yeah, and our hope is to really evolve the industry itself, to influence the industry trends with respect to the use of technology in the roasting process.
I love that. That's so brilliant. I know when I met you as clients that I was just going to be drawn to you all the time. So here you go. Now you're drawing me through your coffee beans. I love it.
It's a lot of fun. We're in it for the fun.
Yeah.
If it stops being fun, we'll stop doing it. But we're in this because we really love coffee and we love the process behind it, and the technology for me is very interesting. So
I might give up wine and just start doing coffee tasting with you guys.
Yeah.
What do you say?
That'd be great.
yeah, you'll be up all night.
I would be asleep anyway. That's brilliant. I think this is so brilliant. Well, how do we find you? How do customers find you other than what you said? Online, do you have any kind of information you can give us?
Yes, so just visit us at SteffenMarkkus.com and just navigate your browser there. We have sales that go on occasionally. We also have lots of informational videos, a lot of information there on our coffee, so detailed information about the origins of the coffees, the roast levels, what each coffee is good for in terms of brewing. And then we also have a YouTube channel where we share insights on how to get the most out of your brews. And I think on Instagram and Facebook.
Facebook, LinkedIn. Our website is SteffenMarkkus.com.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, here's cheers to your business and
Thank
good
you.
luck for
Thanks.
all the future. And hey, you guys, you got to go out there. You got to buy this coffee and you got to taste it because this truly is an experience of a lifetime.
Thank you, Linda.
Thanks.